I quote Solomon often, without a vision, the people will perish. And it's true. If you don't have a vision of the future, you are going to do tactical actions which may not lead to where you want to be. You have to actually envision, where is it we want to go? And it's amazing, once you get people thinking about where we can go and they somewhat buy into that vision, they will start to do things subconsciously to get there. It's a really neat situation to be in that I've got, I don't know, almost 3,000 hours in the F-16, start to finish, when I first had my first flight as a cadet. And as a matter of fact, it was probably in one of the same airplanes that's sitting out here, which is fine, because these airplanes are awesome. But as you look forward right now, this is an exciting time because we're taking all these lessons from the past, these things we've done really well, and you're looking at this new playing field and you say, how do I adopt to that? And we are trying to figure out the strategy and the tactics and the operations of how to connect the two all at the same time. And we don't really have a clear national engagement strategy of China. It's emerging, for example, and Russia. So all of these things are emerging all at once. And it wasn't like that, for example, if you take from World War II all the way through the competition in the Soviets, the tactics of, for example, mechanized maneuver warfare were relatively the same as you saw at the end of World War II, right? And they persisted all the way through the Cold War. But now we're getting into situations where I'm maneuvering in domains that I've never been in before, space and cyber and EMS. And if you take a look at the totality of the volume of all the competition space we have, never in human history have we added so much volume as right now. So when you add space and cyber and EMS on top of the sea and the land and the air, it is almost insurmountable to think about for all of us who've been trained in these single domain operations to piece that together. So it is the most exciting time in human history for competition between states, because it's going to happen, but it's also the most exciting. We have been in a period of non-peer competition for the last 20 years. So how the F-35 fits into this is an incredibly capable aircraft. It can see a lot, it can do a lot. The problem will be, how do you deploy the base? So, and that includes the assets. A fixed base is going to be very difficult to employ. So we have to get back to a little bit more how we used to do things with the Soviets. We have to be mobile, we have to be able to maneuver, our logistics have to be extremely flexible, we have to be able to hide, deceive, to be underground, for example, or we have to use all, and in our case, we're going to use all domains to help us out to employ. So, how are we going to employ effectively and beat our adversary that has this method of fighting? How are you going to operate underneath a very dense defensive layer? How are you going to get close? How are you going to sustain? How are you going to fight? And that will be the challenge for any fighter asset until we get long-range assets, and I'm talking 10 or 20,000 miles, something that can go into low Earth orbit. So as far as a fighter goes, this is how we're going to have to do it. It's a little bit of how we did it with the Soviets, but updated for multi-domain and joint all-domain ops.